Members, the Organizational Development Standing Committee of the Richmond City Council is now called to order. Madam Clerk, if you would read the necessary electronic meeting announcement, and we'll proceed with the agenda.
Yes, this meeting is being held by electronic communication means using the Microsoft Teams meeting application in accordance with Section 2.2-3708.2 of the Code of Virginia due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Youngkin on January 3rd, 2025, and the local state of emergency declared by Mayor Avula on January 5th, 2025. Notice of this meeting was provided to the public by means of a public information advisory issued on January 7th, 2025, and on the city's website in keeping with usual practice. To identify each member of the committee who is present electronically for this meeting, I will now call the roll. Mr. Breton.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Gibson.
Present.
Ms. Jones.
Present.
Ms. Robertson.
Here.
Ms. Lynch.
Here.
Ms. Bramall.
Here.
Ms. Abu Bakr.
Present.
Vice Chair Jordan.
Here.
And Chair Newville.
Here.
All members of the committee are in attendance.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, let's proceed with the approval of the minutes.
Yes, the minutes to be approved are from the December 2nd, 2024 Organizational Development Standing Committee meeting held at 4 p.m. If there are no amendments or corrections, then those meeting minutes will stand approved as presented.
Thank you.
And those minutes have been approved.
Thank you. We'll now proceed to reports for this evening. And I would just have two agenda items under my and what I'm calling an update, but will be really handled by two persons. I am, again, appreciative of our mayors joining us to provide an update, a brief update in terms of the water crisis that we're dealing with. And so I would like to have him just provide that brief update. Mr. Mayor.
Yep, I can give a quick update. Thank you. So, just talking about progress over the course of today, this morning I had reported out that we had 2 pumps that were being used and 13 filters operating. We have progressed now to 5 pumps and 15 filters. So some good forward progress and just getting the nuts and bolts of water purification up to speed. We went from 45 million gallons per day this morning to we're now up to just shy of 69.6 MGD. And so again, we're outpacing the typical usage for this time of year. That said, because the system has been emptied out for a couple of days now, we still need some catch-up time to fill our reservoir, our tanks, and then ultimately pressurize the entire system. One of the markers of that is the the height in the reservoir. Right now, we're running right about 7 feet. That was also the same height as it was this morning at our 9 o'clock check-in. Which means, as we put water into the system and as people have been using water, we really have not seen much growth of the volume in our reservoir. And that's going to be important because we need to get up above 10 feet is where the threshold to really ultimately pressurize the entire system. Now, this should happen. We're putting so much water into the system right now that as utilization drops off, right, as we get past the evening hours, people go to bed, utilization drops down, we'll have a lot of net positive water going into the system and should be able to get that reservoir level up where we need it to fully pressurize. The key message to the public, though, is it continues to be one of conservation. You know, water is coming on all over the city. People are starting to experience that. We're seeing that on social media. We're hearing that anecdotally. We know that to be true. But we still want people to use water wisely, to conserve their usage, because the less that's going out, the more that we can get up to pressure. Getting up to pressure is really important because we cannot start the process of testing so that we can clear the boiled water advisory until we have fully pressurized the system in all 9 zones across the city. We need to get up above 20 pounds per square inch, 20 psi in all 9 zones, and then we can take our first sample. And you may recall from previous press conferences, we need 2 samples spaced 16 hours apart that are negative of any bacterial contamination before we can lift the boiled water advisory. So we're hoping that could happen at some point tonight, perhaps tomorrow morning. But as soon as the entire system is pressurized, we'll take those first samples, and likely we're looking at Friday, if all goes well, and we have negative samples, that we can lift the boiled water advisory. So again, conservation and continue to boil water for consumption. But we will communicate loudly and clearly when we can lift that advisory and schools can reopen and businesses can reopen, et cetera. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Mayor. Members, do we have any questions, comments for the mayor at this time?
I do. I can't tell who the other other hands are raised.
Is that Councilmember Lynch?
Sure is. Hey.
Okay, I can't see. Yeah, okay. Yes,
Sorry.
please.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Mr. Mayor, what typically have we gotten any kind of feedback or what's kind of the general, how likely is it that we will see that positive test 16 hours apart? Like when this has happened in other localities or in other circumstances, is it highly likely that we would see that we'll get clear within and have those 2 tests, pass? Or I guess what's the likelihood that we'll have those 2 that as a successful benchmark? Based on experience.
Fairly high, Councilwoman Lynch. I last night around the table at the water treatment plant, we had both our partners from VDH, who really directs the testing protocol for us, as well as Bob Steidel, who you all remember was our DCAO and oversaw the utilities for years. And both of them reiterated that it's a pretty low risk scenario that we actually have bacteria enter into the lines and get to a point where we see so much contamination that we would test positive. So, based on that experience, obviously this is my first time experiencing something like this, but based on both VDH's report and Bob Steidel's report, it does seem like this is contamination is a low risk incident. And so I think once we fully pressurize, we should be in pretty good shape. But that's all I can tell you at this point.
Okay, that's helpful.
Thank you, Mayor Abula. Any other question and or comment? Mayor, Abula, I just want to say thank you for your just incredible leadership, your team who've been present, and this is just a small number of them. There are a host of them outside of this space who've been working pretty much 24/7 trying to address this weather water crisis in a way that hopefully is swiftly resolved and has minimal impact on our residents, on our businesses, and others who depend upon us for their water supply. I cannot thank you enough. Your folks have just been incredible, and absolutely all of them. So thank you. And I've gone out to the sites along with other members here and the folks out at the sites, the volunteers, the interaction. Just want to say thank you. This is quite a start for our new mayor and team, but let me say your leadership has just been phenomenal here, and we just thank you. And
Really appreciate that.
look forward to the resolution. We had a press release, news release go out from the council today, and really just again saying thank you, and also acknowledging as we get to resolve, the opportunity to work with you to review in such a way that we look at the needs for upgrades, et cetera, of the system. We've not had this occurrence in quite some time, and we're not interested, I think, any of us in having a repeat. And so I know we're all willing to work collaboratively to that end. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
It's certainly not the way I expected to start this job, but really this group of remarkable leaders. And then, as you mentioned, outside these doors, this place is a buzz with people who've been
Yes.
working around the clock. And out distributing water, out at standing up, sheltering. It has been really an amazing thing to watch and be a part of. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. That has absolutely been the case. I would also like to acknowledge and thank our members. You all have been out as well at the sites, and I thank you for all of your efforts to be responsive to our residents, to our businesses, and to all who have been impacted. And I thank you for your service and your support, and look forward to, again, working with the administration upon conclusion of this event to really determine what additional system upgrades, et cetera, are needed. So as we are able to certainly reduce the likelihood of an occurrence anytime soon. So with that, the next item, just very brief, there are several, let me say the council's agenda is full. And so what I've asked our interim council chief of staff, Matthew Slatts, to do is just to give you the list of items so that you know what things are being worked on and queued up, so that you'll have a sense that we have our arms around it, but that more to come in terms of the timelines, the plans, whether it's, as we're approaching budget season, retreat, on and on. So I've asked Matthew to provide that brief overview. And at future time, we'll have greater and more in-depth discussions on each of the items. Vice Chair Jordan, I see your hand up.
Thank you so much, President Newell. I just had a quick question before we moved on, since it wasn't covered in administration and the mayor's update just then. Can you please just refresh everyone and those watching what the best place is for folks to get information, not only on resources, but to track the timeline, things like, where they can get a shower, if they can't get to a water distribution site, how they request those services. Just while we have the opportunity with media and other people on the eyes of this meeting, would love, the latest on hopefully that one-stop shop for people to get information.
Okay. And I will, since I see that our mayor and his team are still on, I'm going to punt that question to them. I think they'll have the best response in terms of, and I know we have several things, 311 RBA Gov, but I want to make sure we have a comprehensive list that we can provide to the community.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, so we are posting everything on rba.gov and putting it out on our city Facebook and Instagram. We have updated location sites for our water distribution on the website. And if we make any other updates, we'll make sure that's noted there. And then we are putting together, I don't actually know how much we've done so far, but we are putting together additional resources. So, for example, the YMCA has come alongside as a partner to offer their space to Richmond to residents who may need a shower. And we've had some churches do the same. So we're consolidating those, and we'll post those to the site as well. Oh, they are posted? Okay, great. They're up.
They're already up on the website?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for our mayor and or his team at this time? Again, Mayor Vula and your phenomenal team there, thank you. And feel free to stay with us throughout the meeting. And again, just can't thank you enough for the just incredible effort on the part of both yourself, certainly, but your team of folks. As I said, in this room, and I know there are a host of people in the other room because I was there earlier along with others. So thank you. With that, Mr. Slats, if you would give us an overview of what's to come in terms of items for council.
Thank you, Madam President. And it's wonderful to be here in front of council. So I appreciate the opportunity to share briefly some of the work that's going on in the Chief of Staff's office. I'll say all with a real major focus that staff is really focused on how do we making sure that council has the resources and data and knowledge that it needs to make the thoughtful and effective decisions that you all are working towards. The primary things that we're working on at the moment, one, we're really majorly focused on third floor construction of the offices. So getting plans and timelines in place so we can make that happen. It's hard to be working together without a space to do that. So that's a major focus, and we're working on that at the moment. We're also moving forward with budget season shortly coming up. And really wanting to make that process as smooth and focused as possible, making sure that council priorities are forefronted in those efforts. So getting a clear timeline, which we'll have to shortly, meeting with you all to review your priorities, as President Newbill mentioned, organizing a retreat. From a legislative and policy focus, really wanting to be responsive to everything that you want to be pushing forward. So in terms of CART requests and getting those moving forward. But we also want to be and think about how are we being a little bit more planful in the processes of helping the standing committees and council meetings and whatnot. So we're thinking a lot about that. Communications has transitioned all the information over for the new council. So that's really exciting to see. And we're going to be doing an audit of our communications channels so that we can better and more effectively communicate and support you all in communicating out to the community. Engagement team is doing wonderful work with the Richmond People's Budget, really listening and collaborating with community and trying to make sure that you all have that information at your disposal. And then lastly, I think the big question that we've been dealing with is in terms of staffing is just really trying to find this really delicate balance between making sure council has, and you've expressed this, is leading the conversation about what the future direction of this office looks like, but also trying to make sure we're addressing short-term needs as much as possible. So everything from a staffing review to the job posting for the permanent chief of staff's role is out. We're also replacing a big void in terms of Joyce Davis's role, and then trying to make sure we have people in place to help us just do the basics because we're down numbers at the moment. I'm happy to. That's all the updates, but I'm happy to sit and take questions or follow up with questions later on.
Thank you, Mr. Slats. Would like to make sure that members feel that all of the categories of items that we are looking to have addressed, you've articulated. If there are any others, I'd like to make sure they get added. For me, one of them is certainly our current legislative agenda that we have, with the General Assembly. I guess it'll get started today or tomorrow, sometime within the next few days, but having and being clear about our plan of action in terms of really moving our agenda forward with the General Assembly members, and the ongoing opportunity for feedback from our lobbyists, and then any action that's necessary by council members, and being clear about how that will occur, your interface with them, and communication to us. So that whole legislative agenda item would be something to make sure it is on our list. Members, are there any? I'm sorry, Mr. Slats.
Yeah, definitely. Those meetings are happening every Friday with the lobbyists, and we are communicating with them about making sure we are getting that feedback loop. So again, we can get council to a meeting and get information back so that we have that at our disposal.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Members, any other items that we need to make sure are on the list with Mr. Slats as he puts that information together? Councilmember Robertson.
Thank you, Madam President. Would like also to thank the administration for the job that they have done to get our water restored. Certainly no one anticipated that we, and Mr. Mayor, to be walking into such a drastic situation the first week of this new year. But it certainly has given us an opportunity to experience the staffing that we do have in place and their readiness to be responsive to the crisis that was at hand, that still is at hand. So we look forward to continuing that effort of collaborating to make sure that we get to that place as quickly as possible of restoring healthy, clean water to all of us residents. And we appreciate their tolerance and patience during this time of crisis that none of us would have wanted to see happen. But in all things, we learned some critical lessons in the process. My request, Madam Chair, is that as soon as possible that the administration provide us with a timeline of their review and analysis and their plan of action as it relates to moving forward. And if necessary, that we have a special opportunity meeting to fully get that detailed report so that not only we understand what that is, but the residents will also have a greater appreciation of understanding where we are and what our plan of action and moving forward. If they could at least provide us with a timeline of when they would be prepared to do that, and some skeleton outline of what they anticipate would be incorporated in that presentation to us, that would be extremely beneficial and helpful for us to put alert out to our residents and our stakeholders and our partners as we move forward. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Robertson.
And Chair Newbill, it's been brought to my attention that city administration and the mayor may need to provide you additional information. So I just wanted to alert you to that.
Yes, and Mr. Slats, you have that as an item and you've captured. Okay, so I'm relying on Mr. Slats to include any additional items on, and certainly that would be one that in follow-up to Councilmember Robertson's comment, we'd be looking for that outreach and gathering of information to come back. Vice Chair Jordan.
Thank you, President Newbill. I would just offer that we have a governmental operations committee meeting on January 22nd, and that could be a good opportunity to get that timeline update from administration.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, certainly if you would follow up with our mayor and his staff to see if that timing works. If it does, then that would be great. If not, to at least identify a timeline within which we would be able to get that would be helpful coming from your committee. So thank you. With that, members, that concludes the agenda
Madam
for.
President. Madam President. Madam
Councilwoman
President,
Trammell?
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't see y'all and you can't see me.
Yes.
But anyway, there's one thing there's a lot of things, but my phone's going dead. But I want to know when, give us an update on when we expect to be in our offices and have at least an office that we can work out of. Have we gotten an update or anything like that from Matt?
Mr. Slats has that on his list. I don't know that we have a date specific. We've asked to meet with the administrator. Why don't you share, Mr. Slats, where we
Just
are?
something short.
Yes.
It's been over a year. We still don't have an
Yes,
office.
absolutely, council member.
Thank you.
Mr. Slats, but I also see we have a hand up.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
City administration needs to provide you additional information regarding something they said earlier in this meeting. I understand. So Mr. Willoughby has his hand up.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
yes.
what?
Mr. Willoughby, did you have comment relative to Councilmember Trammell's inquiry?
Sorry, we didn't mean to interrupt the flow. I think there are a few different things we wanted to respond to. I'll let Sabrina respond to the renovation process first.
I think we have a follow-up meeting scheduled for the
That's
renovation
correct.
process. Right, so we will be happy to provide a timeline after that.
Right. And so Councilmember Trammell, Mr. Slats has interfaced with the administration to have a meeting such that when we leave the table, we will have times and dates specific when we're looking to get into the offices, both for council and for staff. So yes.
The other items, the second thing was related back to one of the requests to make sure that we were sharing water distribution and the information about YMCA and other opportunities for showers. Sorry, that it has gone out on social media. I don't think it's on our website, so we're working on that right now. So I just wanted to clarify that and we'll make sure that that gets up within the hour. And then the third thing was and I just got a text from April Bingham over at Utilities. And so we now have added another filter and the reservoir is up above 9 feet. So we're seeing good progress.
This is great. Great news.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, that was worth the interruption. Thank you. With that, members, the agenda for this meeting, we've addressed all items. And at this point, this meeting now stands adjourned. Thank you.